Hey, all done with D&E in the garage. Today I'm coming at you with another podcast. You'll have to excuse me for the less than picturesque setting that we're at today. It's too hot to be in the Jeep. It's like 90 degrees. It's only 9 in the morning here in Jersey. Way too humid to be locked up in the Jeep, and if I turn the AC on, then you guys can't hear me. So here we are in the proverbial empire of dirt, which desperately needs to be cleaned. It's a little more dirt than empire these days, but the podcast for today is going to be about conduct and our conduct as car guys. And as usual, what prompted this podcast is an argument. Well, it's something I've been thinking about, but it was a conversation that I had with somebody recently that devolved into an argument about how we should conduct ourselves as car guys. And I believe, and what I'm going to assert today, is that we have a responsibility to ourselves and to each other as car guys to hold ourselves to a different standard of conduct, because cars and vehicles mean something different to us than the average person. If you are a car guy, your vehicle is not just a way for you to get to work. You know what I mean? It's a piece of you. It's a piece of your soul. Chances are your blood, sweat, and tears, and certainly all your paychecks go into that vehicle. So you understand the emotional connection that people have with their cars, and as a result, you should be following some guidelines that I believe are basically common sense, but they don't always get treated as such in our world. So what I want to do today is go over what I'm going to call the 10 commandments of being a car guy. Alright, let's get into it. Thou shalt not ask how much was paid. Alright, this one is often confused and not followed, and I think the reason is that people don't quite understand why. Why is it so wrong to ask somebody how much they paid for a mod, how much they paid for those rims, how much they paid for their whole build? All right, and this is the reason. When you ask somebody, hey man, that's a pretty sweet lift kit you got, how much you pay for it, you're not just asking them how much that lift kit costs. All right, you are essentially putting on trial their financial state. You're calling into question how much they can pay for something, how much they're willing to pay for something, maybe what their bargaining skills are. You know what I mean? And it's a really uncomfortable situation. When somebody asks me, oh man, I like your Jeep, how much you pay for it? You get a little bit of anxiety because I don't know what their motives are. You know what I mean? Are you going to judge how economical I was, or how much I can spend, how much I'm willing to spend? It's just not polite. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to talk about money in mixed company anyway. That's what they say. That's one of those old school rules for everybody. And for car guys, absolutely don't ask anybody how much they paid. If they want you to know, they will absolutely volunteer that information. Hey man, I got a great deal on these rims. You got to see them. I only paid $50 for them. You know what I mean? But if I don't volunteer that information, you don't ask, because it doesn't matter. What does it matter how much was paid for this item, this mod, this entire project? You know what I mean? It's not really any of your business. Knowing how much I paid for something should not increase or decrease your enjoyment of experiencing my vehicle or looking at my vehicle, the whole experience of being around the vehicle. And it makes for a really uncomfortable conversation. Thou shalt seek permission for all pictures. This one's a little weird. I don't particularly care, and I wish people didn't care, but as we discussed, or as I mentioned in the lead up into this, a car is an extension of someone's soul, someone's being. All right, it is probably your most dear possession. After your living family members and pets, your vehicle is probably the thing that elicits the most emotional response from you. All right, so if you don't want pictures taken of your vehicle, you have the right to say no. And so as car guys, if you're out at a show or you're just in a parking lot or whatever, you should always ask permission before you take a picture of someone's ride. You know what I mean? They're probably going to say yes, because people are proud of it. There's nothing more flattering than someone being like, oh my gosh, that is awesome. Can I take a picture of it? But if they choose to say no, don't worry about it. Because honestly, there's no vehicle out there that is so unique that you're not going to be able to find another one to take a picture of at some point. Thou shalt respect all interiors and exteriors. Okay, this is broken into a two-parter for a reason. Externals are, or exteriors are kind of obvious. don't touch somebody's car. You know what I mean? If you see a really nice vehicle at a car show, again, or in a parking lot or whatever, you don't go up and touch it. The only thing you should ever be touching on the outside of someone's car is the door handle, and that's only if you've gotten permission to get inside. Now, this rule gets followed for cars a lot, but I notice like trucks and Jeeps, people think it's more acceptable to sit on the bumpers and touch the tires and touch the winch or the lights or something, like, you know, as though these are utilitarian vehicles and as such don't deserve the same sanctity. But it's not true. Just don't touch someone else's ride. Don't touch someone else's stuff. All right, that's the easy part. Where it gets a little trickier is when you move inside, respecting the interior of someone's vehicle. Now, chances are, if you have access to the interior of someone's vehicle, you've asked permission and were invited inside of the vehicle, which gives a lot of people this false sense of entitlement to touch stuff. All right, your default setting for being in someone's car, especially if they're a car guy, should be to not touch anything. The radio, the air conditioner, the heat, the windows, the glove box, anything. Right? It's none of your business to be touching all that. This is this person's sanctuary. I know for me, my happy place is inside my Jeep because I control everything in there. I've got everything just the way I like it, down to the headliner. I know where all the radio stations are. I've got everything set up so that from my command post, I can access everything I need. I don't need you coming in and touching stuff. All right? Another aspect of this is eating and drinking and smoking in a vehicle. The rule of thumb should be this: if you feel as though you need to ask before eating something, drinking something, or smoking in someone's car, the answer is that you probably shouldn't. Now, if you get in my Jeep, my XJ, the one I drive daily, there's no doubt in your mind that it's okay to eat in that vehicle. It's not super clean, and there's probably a wrapper from something already on the floor. So you shouldn't feel the necessity to ask. Now, when you get in like my father's Subaru, all right, that thing is meticulous. The man has made custom teak wood inlays for his dash. It's pretty obvious that you're going to need to ask before you eat in his car. And as an extension of that, it's pretty obvious you just shouldn't even ask, because the answer is going to be no. Or if it's not no, he's only saying yes out of some sense of obligation to give you a good experience. But do him the favor. Respect the sanctity of his vehicle and don't even ask. Same thing goes with smoking. All right, now you get in some people's car and it smells like an ashtray and there's ash all over the dashboard and, you know, they're smoking, so it's pretty obvious they don't really care. Though I do think you should still say, hey, you mind if I smoke? Now, if you get in one of my Jeeps, I don't smoke anymore. I haven't for 2 years. None of my vehicles smell like smoke. There's no cigarettes. There's no lighters sitting around. It's pretty obvious that you're going to have to ask, which means it's pretty obvious the answer is going to be no. Thou shalt fill a borrowed tank. This should just be common decency. All right, somebody lets you borrow their car, you fill the tank. Now, where it gets gray is this. Say you borrow my car to run down to the corner store, which is 3/4 of a mile away, so the round trip's 1.5 miles. Do you have to fill my tank? Yeah, you should. Here's why. All right. Not only did I didn't just let you borrow my vehicle and the only thing that was in jeopardy was the amount of gas, which is negligible. You used a minuscule fraction of a gallon to go that 1.5 miles. The problem is this. I pay insurance on that vehicle. I pay the registration on that vehicle. I pay for the upkeep on that vehicle. All right, and if something happens during that 1.5 mile round trip that you're taking in my vehicle, there's a very good chance that I'm never going to be made whole. Insurance is going to step in and you'll try to help, but somewhere along the line, I am not going to be made whole from that experience. I am risking that to let you take my vehicle and run it down the road. The right thing to do, the decent thing to do, you get that person gas. Doesn't matter if you're going 1 mile and they left you on E. If you don't want to take on that responsibility of filling that tank, you don't take the car. Maybe you walk. Now, obviously, really close friends, family, doesn't necessarily apply. You have to find the situation where it does. But if you get the keys to a car guy's car and he is kind enough to let this piece of his soul be with you and let you be entrusted to take it down the road so you can get an Arizona iced tea or something, yeah, fill his tank. It's just the right thing to do. Tools are second only to the vehicle in sanctity. All right, this is a biggie. We already discussed that a vehicle to a car guy is an extension of their soul. It's a piece of them. And all of us have tools that we use to keep our vehicle in the condition that we like it in. Maybe they're actual hand tools. Maybe they are detailing tools. Who knows what it is. The inclination in our community, if I need a a needle nose pliers and I don't have one, and my buddy does, I say, hey, I borrowed that needle nose pliers. Maybe I'm not in a position to buy one for myself right now. And the inclination of my buddy is going to be to say, yeah, sure, here you go. All right, I'm going to use them, and the expectation that is now put on me is that I'm going to return them, first of all, and I'm going to return them in the exact condition that he lent them to me. I'm not going to leave them out in the rain and then return them to him rusty. And if I do leave them in the rain and they end up rusty, they end up in worse condition than when I borrowed them, you buy new ones and you return him new tools, period. If you borrow something from somebody and you cannot return it in the exact condition that they gave it to you in, you replace it with new stuff. Don't go to them, got a little messed up, you mind? They're gonna say, most likely, yeah, sure, it's fine, whatever. Just like the eating, drinking, smoking thing in the car. There's some expectation on people to be decent human beings and not make a big deal out of material objects. But if I lend you some brand new pliers and you return them looking all rusty and crusty like this, we're gonna be beefing, all right? We're all guilty of this. We're all guilty. I borrow stuff from Eric all the time. Maybe it doesn't always make it back in the exact same condition. But really, what we should be doing, we should be replacing it in better condition than when we borrowed it. I had somebody borrow a spare tire from me once and never return it. All right, they call me from the side of the road. Hey man, I can't get home. I got a flat tire and I don't have a spare. I let them have it, and I just never saw it again. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be tools. Anything to do with that person's vehicle, return it. I don't care if you borrow a cigarette lighter, if you borrow a like an iPod cable or something. You return it. Period. That's just common human decency. But understanding how important these items are to a car guy, and you being a car guy yourself, you're better than that. Return it in better condition than when you borrowed it. Thou shalt offer no unqualified help. This is just common sense. If you can't weld, please don't tell me you can help me weld my new exhaust. Alright? This is rampant in the car world. As soon as people get into vehicles and they start gaining a little base of knowledge, they want to flex their brain muscles, and they want to be able to help. There's nothing better than your car buddy has a problem and you being able to offer the solution. There's no better feeling than being the one guy in the room who knows the answer to the problem. All right, but if you don't actually know how to fix it, just don't offer to help. You see this all the time. All right, that's why there's all those jokes, my buddy's a welder out there, you know what I mean? Because you see these really screwed up mods on people's cars. Stereos, you see this all the time with like car electrical stereos, remote starts. Yeah, my buddy could wire it in for half the price, and now your car turns on randomly in the middle of the night and doesn't work when you want it to. My Grand Cherokee has been in the family for quite a few years. Just about everyone in the family's driven it, but before we had it, whoever had it did some seriously crazy uncle grandpa wiring, and now my radio will only come on if the headlights are on. And I've tried to figure out what the heck they did. It's a mess back there, but clearly somebody had a buddy who said, nah man, don't pay Circuit City to do it, I'll do it for you. All right, don't offer any unqualified help, and don't even offer half qualified help. All right, when your grandma says, I got a little problem with my car, oh, I'll go out and fix it. Only fix it if you are certain you know what you're doing. All right, don't even do an oil change unless you are 100% certain that you know what kind of oil, all the little details about that vehicle. All right, because cars are expensive to fix correctly. They really are. So when you screw it up and you're gonna leave someone else holding the bag, that's not cool. Absolutely not. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to another car guy, and definitely don't do it to unsuspecting victims. All right, when people find out that you're a little bit of a car guy, they always want free help is what they want. They want free repairs, they want free work done on their vehicles, and that's cool. As car guys, there's a good chance that helping somebody with a vehicle problem is one of the only ways we're ever going to be able to give back to society. I know I'm not going to be donating money to charity because I don't have any, but if every once in a while I can help somebody who can't help themselves with their vehicle, that's great. Unless I don't know what I'm doing and I screw their car up further. Offer no unqualified help. Thou shalt offer no unsolicited assessments. This is one of my personal pet peeves, all right? Somebody gets in my vehicle and we're driving along, another car guy, and they want to point out all the things that are wrong with my vehicle as though I haven't noticed, all right? Let's restate this for the 10th time this video. A vehicle to a car guy is an extension of themselves. They drive this vehicle daily. They think about this vehicle when they're trying to fall asleep. All right, this vehicle is in the back of their mind at all time. It is their pride and joy. You mean to tell me that you don't think they know that their rear wheel bearing's going? You mean to tell me they didn't notice that new little ding on their fender? They noticed. They know it's there. It is haunting their dreams, laughing at them all day long. They don't need you, after they've been nice enough to give you a ride, to sit in the passenger seat and go, sounds like your wheel bearing's going and your exhaust's a little louder. It might have rusted through a weld there. And did you notice on your front fender there, you got a little dinger? Yes. Yes, I noticed. If I wanted to talk to you about it, I'd say, man, you're not going to believe what happened. Some idiot hit me with a shopping cart. Put a ding right there in the fender. If I don't bring it up, assume that it's too painful to talk about right now. Alright? If I want your help diagnosing that warbling noise coming from the back axle, I will ask you, hey man, got a crazy noise going on back there. Don't know what it is. Alright? But trust, I know. I know it's there. I know. I just want to get us to the bar we're going. I just want to get us where we're going. I don't really want to think about all the things that are wrong with my beloved ride right now. Thou shalt offer warning to fellow travelers. This is a really cool aspect of car culture and of humanity in general. Right? Out here in rural New Jersey, and I know nobody thinks of New Jersey as being rural, but out here in northwest New Jersey, it's a lot of back roads and a lot of deer and a lot of little places for officers to hide, speed trap type stuff. And because they're back roads, there's a lot of opportunities for you to be going 50 and a 35. And so what you'll see a lot, and I don't know if people in the city are going to relate to this, but anybody who lives in a more rural area will. You're going this way, somebody's coming this way, and you see them flash their high beams twice. And what that tells you is that up ahead, there's a deer in the road, there's a pothole that's 8 inches deep, or there's a cop sitting off in the bushes somewhere where you can't see him. So what you need to do is slow down, keep your eyes peeled, all right? And that's awesome. That is really awesome. All right, it's people looking out for each other. And a couple years ago in New Jersey, they made a big deal of it, and they think they tried to make it illegal to warn somebody that there's a cop up ahead, and it was overturned. Totally legal. Now, what I'm suggesting is that as car guys, we owe it to ourselves, to other car guys, and to the general public to keep this tradition going. This is awesome. This is awesome. It's one of the purest examples of people helping people. All right. I may rag on Toyota owners all the time, but if I'm going this way and I know there's a cop back there or a deer standing in the road, doesn't matter what kind of car is coming this way, a Toyota, a Nissan, Ford, whatever, or another Jeep, I'm gonna flash for them. All right. Absolutely. Let them know there's some danger up ahead. You need to slow down, keep your eyes peeled. I don't know if it's legal in every state, so maybe do a quick Google search. I didn't feel like doing 50 Google searches to find out for y'all if this is legal everywhere. I don't even know if this is legal everywhere on the planet. If anybody is in another country, I know we've got a couple people in Australia and the UK that are pretty consistent watchers. I'd love to know, is this something that people do elsewhere in the world, and is it legal? If it is legal, and they do it, I don't know, I'd love to know. But in New Jersey and in most of the United States, totally legal. So absolutely, take the time, give them that little flash, let them know there's a deer up ahead, there's a crazy big pothole. I don't even know. Maybe even traffic up ahead. I've seen people give the flash when there's like construction, so there's a huge backup. And now I know what they're trying to say is turn off now, but you can only convey so much with a double flash of the flashers. Anyway, this is just common car guy decency. Thou mouth shall not write checks that thou vehicle cannot cash. Our culture is full of braggarts and assholes. Don't be another one of them. All right, car culture is full of people who just love to talk, and obviously conversations are great, but I don't really want to hear outlandish stories about what your car can do, what you have done with your car, what you are able to do to an engine. All right, kind of a shut up or put up moment. If you're gonna brag about something, you better be prepared to back it up. I can't tell you how many people brag about stuff they can do in their Jeep, stuff they can do to a Jeep, but you never see them pick up a wrench. You never see their mole crawler out on the trail. And I know, I'm not really part of a racing community myself. I'd rather go anywhere than go fast, but I know this happens in the racing world. Oh yeah, man, that's a 12-second car. Let's take it out to the strip. Oh, well, I got stuff to do and this, that, and the third. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Don't write checks that your vehicle can't cash, or that you can't cash. This kind of goes back to the unqualified help thing. Don't say that you can replace all the O2 sensors in my vehicle if all you're going to do is get in there and mess a bunch of stuff up and now my vehicle is not drivable. Just be a genuine person. Car guys get a bad rap for being kind of douchey. And don't add to that. That's all that is. Thou shalt respect the vision of the build. There's nothing worse than having your vehicle out. You're out at Jeep Beach Week, you're out at Cars and Coffee, Cruise Night, and you're sitting there with this beloved structure, this project that has probably stolen your paychecks, nights, and weekends, that you've literally poured your blood, sweat, and tears into, and you're out there exposing it to the world, trying to see what people think about it, and all anybody wants to talk about is what they would have done differently. Oh, you went with 35-inch tires and 16-inch rims. I would have done with the 15-inch rims. Oh, you went with the turbo. I would have supercharged it. Forget you, man. You don't know my story. You don't know why I built this the way I built it. But all you need to know is that I built it, all right? If you want to tell me what you would have done with a 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee, go buy one, build it, then come back and we'll talk. There's nothing worse than someone who doesn't respect someone else's build, all right? Now, yeah, we can talk about how I did it, what I did, but you're putting me in a very uncomfortable situation by judging my vehicle so brazenly right in front of me. Oh, yeah, man, you went with the rough country lift? I would have gone with the IRO lift, Maybe I couldn't afford the IRO lift. Maybe I'm doing the best I can. Maybe I know something you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know. You don't know. And unless I open the conversation up to that, it's none of your business to tell me what you would have done on my vehicle, all right? Unless you have your own build sitting there, and then we'll go back and forth. But when someone's just walking around criticizing someone else's build, telling them what they would have, it's just the lowest of the low. You're not bringing anything to the table but this criticism, and frankly, I don't want to talk to you anymore. If you want to tell me how much you like my ride, that's cool. If you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything at all, all right? I think what all of these commandments have in common is that they're just good human decency. All right, now I don't bring these things up because I think we should be coddling each other per se. I don't want this to come off as some kind of snowflake conversation. Don't hurt other people's feelings. No, that's not at all what I'm getting at here. What I'm getting at is that we know that a vehicle is more, it's greater than the sum of its parts to us, your vehicle individually. People look at my Jeeps, man, and they think they're the biggest hunks of garbage, but I love them. They're an extension of me. My literal blood, sweat, and tears goes into those Jeeps, all right? And respect them. Respect the build. Respect it if I let you borrow it. Respect it if I let you borrow something from it. Respect it if I bring it out into the world. That's all it is. It's about respect. All right? I'm not saying I can't take your criticism. I'm not saying I can't handle it if you don't respect me and my Jeep. All right? But I will respect your build. I plan to respect your build, no matter what it is. Yeah, I might make fun of you if you're like a Honda guy or something, but in general, and I say it all the time. It's not for me, but I respect what you did there. All right? When I see somebody who's built a Toyota Tacoma, it's not for me, but I respect what you did there. So when I see somebody who built a Civic, definitely not for me, but I respect what you did there. All right? People all the time, man. People, you either love Jeeps or you hate Jeeps. That's for damn sure. And I meet people all the time who will honestly say, yeah, I would not ever buy a Jeep, but I respect what you did there. All right? In general, across the board. Obviously, you already know, I want to hear what you guys think of these commandments. All right? Do you think there's more? Do you think any of these should not be part of the list? Leave me that comment down there in the squawk boxes. Let's talk about it. Absolutely. Especially if you think there's more. You know, I really thought about this for a good long time, trying to figure out all the things about car culture that are not great and that we could fix ourselves. All right, car culture is it's huge. You know, it's such a big thing, and you're part of such a big family when you become a car guy. Let's make it more enjoyable. You know, our way of life is somewhat threatened by the way the car market is going. Electric vehicles. There's no shade tree mechanics for electric vehicles. There's not. And I want to make sure that car culture is so enticing and so enjoyable for everyone involved that it continues on for generations. I want my daughter to be able to be a car person. I want her kids to be able to be, vehicle people, because that's what I am, and I love it. And this way of life has meant a lot to me, and it continues to mean a lot to me. All right, so leave me those comments. If you like the video, by all means, like the video. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I think that would be great, because if you like the video, I put these out all the time, and there's going to be more of them coming, all right? As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.